On November 22, 2018, Kelsey Berreth, a 29-year-old flight instructor and mother of a young daughter, was reported missing after she was last seen at a Safeway grocery store in Woodland Park, Colorado. What seemed like a typical case of a missing person soon spiraled into a shocking and tragic tale of betrayal, deception, and murder. The events surrounding Kelsey's death would capture national attention and leave an indelible mark on the community. What followed was a complex and heartbreaking investigation into a crime that left her family and friends searching for answers, and Kelsey's daughter, who was just 1 year old at the time, without a mother. Kelsey Berreth was a bright, ambitious woman. She was a flight instructor for a small aviation company in Colorado, and those who knew her described her as intelligent, caring, and independent. Kelsey had a daughter, Kaylee, who was born in 2017, and although she was a single mother, she was dedicated to her work and to raising her child. Kelsey was in a relationship with Patrick Frazee, a man she had met years earlier. Frazee was a rancher and, on the surface, appeared to be a doting boyfriend and father. The couple had begun dating in 2016 and had a turbulent relationship, but they continued to co-parent Kaylee despite their issues. Kelsey had concerns about Patrick's temper, and she had recently told friends and family that she was considering ending their relationship, though they continued to have contact. In the weeks leading up to her disappearance, Kelsey had been dealing with personal issues, including the strain of her relationship with Frazee, as well as the responsibilities of being a single mother. However, no one could have anticipated the chilling events that would unfold when she disappeared. The last confirmed sighting of Kelsey Berreth was on Thanksgiving Day, November 22, 2018. That morning, she dropped off her daughter, Kaylee, with Patrick Frazee at his ranch in Florissant, Colorado, which was located about 30 miles from her apartment. It was clear that Kelsey had been in contact with Patrick, and at the time, the exchange seemed to be part of a routine shared custody arrangement. Later that day, Kelsey went to a Safeway store in Woodland Park, where surveillance footage captured her entering the store. She was seen purchasing some items around 12 o'clock, but after this moment, she would disappear without a trace. Kelsey's phone records indicated that her phone was last used to text her employer, but there were no signs of life after that. Family members began to grow concerned when they couldn't get in touch with Kelsey for several days. On December 2, 2018, Kelsey's mother, Cheryl, reported her daughter missing to the authorities, and an investigation was launched. When the authorities began their investigation, the circumstances surrounding Kelsey's disappearance were puzzling. There was no obvious sign of a struggle at her apartment, and no one could explain where she had gone or why she had vanished. Investigators turned to Kelsey's phone records and security footage for clues. What they found next raised more questions than answers. Surveillance footage from the Safeway store showed Kelsey, but it was later determined that Kelsey's phone had been moved several times after her disappearance. The last communication from Kelsey's phone appeared to be a text message sent to her employer, saying she would not be at work for the next few days. However, investigators soon discovered that Kelsey's phone had been turned off after that, which suggested something was seriously wrong. As the search for Kelsey continued, investigators focused on her immediate circle, most notably her boyfriend, Patrick Frazee. Patrick Frazee quickly became a person of interest in Kelsey's disappearance. In the weeks leading up to Kelsey's disappearance, Kelsey had told family members and friends that her relationship with Patrick was strained. He had a violent temper, and there were rumors of abusive behavior. Kelsey had also expressed fears that Patrick might be capable of hurting her. Despite these concerns, the two had maintained a relationship and co-parented their daughter. In the wake of Kelsey's disappearance, Patrick initially cooperated with the police, but his behavior struck investigators as odd. He claimed he had last seen Kelsey on Thanksgiving Day, when she dropped off their daughter. However, surveillance footage showed that Patrick was in town on the day of Kelsey's disappearance, despite his earlier claims that he was not. As investigators continued to probe Patrick's background, they uncovered a complex web of lies. It soon came to light that Patrick had a girlfriend, Crystal Lee, whom he had been secretly seeing while still in a relationship with Kelsey. Crystal Lee's involvement in the case would become crucial as the investigation moved forward. On December 21, 2018, just weeks after Kelsey went missing, investigators made a shocking discovery. Kelsey's body was found in a remote area of the Colorado mountains near Patrick Frazee's ranch. She had been brutally murdered, and the crime scene suggested that Kelsey had been the victim of a violent assault. Her body was badly burned and showed signs of blunt force trauma. The autopsy revealed that Kelsey had been killed by blunt force trauma to the head, and there were signs of strangulation. Her body had been set on fire, a deliberate attempt to destroy evidence and conceal the cause of death. The investigators now had enough evidence to conclude that Kelsey's disappearance was not a case of a missing person, but a cold-blooded murder. The investigation into Kelsey's murder soon focused on Patrick Frazee. In January 2019, after months of intense surveillance and investigation, Frazee was arrested and charged with first-degree murder and the solicitation of murder. Authorities also arrested Crystal Lee, who was charged with 2 counts of tampering with evidence and accessory to murder. Frazee had allegedly orchestrated Kelsey's murder with the help of Crystal Lee. According to investigators, Frazee had been plotting to kill Kelsey for months, and Crystal had assisted him in disposing of evidence and cleaning up the crime scene. Frazee had reportedly attempted to hire multiple people to murder Kelsey before eventually carrying out the crime himself. The chilling details of the murder began to emerge. Crystal Lee's testimony revealed that Patrick had planned the killing meticulously, even enlisting her help in stealing Kelsey's phone and staging messages to make it look like Kelsey was still alive after her death. She had also helped Frazee destroy evidence by burning Kelsey's body in a remote area. The case against Patrick Frazee continued to unfold throughout 2019 and 2020. In November 2019, the trial of Patrick Frazee began in Colorado Springs. The prosecution presented a compelling case, detailing Frazee's violent history with Kelsey and his obsession with having full custody of their daughter, Kaylee. They argued that Frazee murdered Kelsey in a fit of rage after she had repeatedly threatened to leave him and take their daughter with her. The defense tried to argue that there was no concrete evidence linking Frazee to the crime, but the testimony of Crystal Lee, who had turned on Frazee and cooperated with authorities, was crucial in securing the conviction. Lee had revealed the horrifying details of the murder, including Frazee's apparent indifference to the brutality of the crime. On November 18, 2019, after a week of deliberations, the jury found Patrick Frazee guilty of first-degree murder and 2 counts of solicitation of murder. He was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole, a verdict that brought some measure of justice for Kelsey's family. Though Kelsey Berreth's life was tragically cut short, her story is one of perseverance and love for her daughter. Kelsey's family, particularly her mother Cheryl, fought tirelessly to ensure that the truth was uncovered and that justice was served. Kelsey's daughter, Kaylee, who was just a toddler at the time of her mother's murder, now lives with Kelsey's parents, who have become her primary caregivers. The case serves as a tragic reminder of the dangers that can lurk behind seemingly ordinary relationships and the lengths to which some individuals will go to maintain control. It also highlights the importance of vigilance in recognizing the signs of domestic abuse and the need for justice for those who suffer in silence. In the end, Kelsey Berreth's murder was not just a case of a missing person, it was a calculated act of violence rooted in manipulation, control, and deceit. Patrick Frazee's conviction brought some closure to her family, but the lasting impact of Kelsey's murder continues to affect all those who knew and loved her. Her story remains a powerful testament to the resilience of families seeking justice for loved ones and the need to never forget those who have been tragically taken from us too soon.